Hi, everybody. My name is Claire Clements. I am one of the co-founders of Positively Empowered Kids. I am joined here today by the fantastic Jay from Honest Rocket Coaching. So, hi, Jay. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, Claire. Well, my name is Jay, and I'm a growth mindset coach, and I specialize in helping parents and children to launch their lives. So I cover everything from growth mindset right through to emotional intelligence and all the personal development strategies that you may use as adults. I just interpret them to children to make them easier for them to understand.
And it's you can tell why we've been drawn to each other over the kind of progression of our careers, because we both got a very similar kind of mindset with that. But what led you to wanting to work with children in this way, and parents?
Well, I originally started as a teaching assistant in an autistic school. So I've already been working with children for a long, long time, dealing with challenging behavior. And that it kind of interests me how you can kind of help them, but not in the way that most people would try. So, and obviously working with autistic children, I've had to learn to be very patient and do things in a way that's a little bit outside of the box because they're all very different.
Yeah.
Basically what led me on my own personal development journey was my wife is disabled and I was working, juggling, looking after my son, getting him to school, dealing with her and her struggles not being able to get out of bed. And I developed anxiety, crippling anxiety. And I didn't want to deal with that in the conventional go to the GP, get some medication, kind of just stay there for the rest of your life. So I kind of started my own personal development journey doing a life coaching course just for me. And then I found there was so much golden nuggets in that information that I thought it's so selfish for me to keep this to myself, because I think most people hear the word personal development and think, oh my goodness, that's scary. There's so many big words like to do with the brain and stuff. And it's scary. But when you break it down, it's really, really simple.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really powerful. And so would you say that that kind of life coaching that you did obviously changed your path kind of career wise, but obviously massively helped you?
Yeah, definitely. I was already, obviously, I'd left work to be a carer for my wife. So I knew I had to do something that was going to mold around family life. And now, obviously, we home educate our son as well. So even more so, we need to mold around that. But
Yeah.
it just all came together and just made sense. And I was already kind of doing a few things before, but then you find if you're not consistent with it, it just whittles away and you don't carry on.
Yeah.
So
I think you need to have that passion behind it to kind of keep you going, don't you, with it?
definitely, I think having a strong why in anything you do, personal development or life in general, is going to keep you on that track, isn't it?
100%. And so how's that played out? So I know you mentioned, so for those of you that don't know, Jay's also got a son called Jay, who's 9, Jaden. And so he's doing some amazing things as well. And actually he was one of the first interviews that we did. So it was only a matter of time before we interviewed you, and you've been a great supporter of Positively Empowered Kids as well. So tell us a little bit about your son.
Well, Jaden is a very, very inspiring young man. He has had quite a lot of troubles going from school to home education due to the school system not really fitting with Jaden.
Mm.
But my opinion is the school system needs majorly updating, but that's for another conversation.
That's a very long conversation.
Yeah, definitely. But basically, he's very inspiring, and he has
Mm,
he's a very gentle soul, as you know. You've spoke to him many times.
I have.
He likes to help everybody. Sometimes he suffers in that process, but obviously that's a learning curve for him. But he has won most inspiring individual in the Fiverr challenge, which is a little thing that they do in schools, but we found and did on his own. So mainly, usually they do it in a class. He won it on his own for his business, selling bracelets to fund kindness packages for other people.
Yeah, it's
He's
incredible.
obviously have his own motivational speaking YouTube channel, which he has amazing engagement on there. And I think I have quite a few fans on my platforms, because every time I post a video of Jaden, it just goes off the chart. So
it's because people, and this is what I love about, you know, everything that we're all doing, people want to hear from the children. They want to hear the children's voices at the moment, and that's kind of so powerful. And it's great that you're using all the kind of things that you've learned, and kind of using them to help your own family as well, but then also reaching out to others.
I just think it's such a powerful thing as a parent to be able to give your child that knowledge, because I've only been on this journey personally for myself for 2 years. And in some way, if I had had this stuff earlier, some people get it wrong and think I'm saying that there won't be problems if you know this stuff. Yes, there's always going to be struggles. There's always going to be ups and downs in your life. But if you know this stuff, and your children, more importantly, know this stuff also, it's just a way forward. You can see things in a different light. So you find, because as we all know, well, some people may not, that your brain answers the questions you ask it. So if you ask it empowering questions, you get empowering answers. You ask it disempowering questions, you're not going to find the answers you're looking for. So
very, very well put. And I think you've mentioned a couple of times, I love your language actually, because it really matches what you're doing. And in particular, so you said earlier about launching. So there's a little bit of a clue there, because, you know, your title of your business is Honest Rocket. So tell us a little bit more about the business and what you're doing with that at the moment.
Well, currently I am juggling lots of different plates at the moment. It's just the way I work. I like to keep myself focused on them. So at the moment we have a podcast for children with this little guy here. This is Orbit the Affirmation Alien. And
Fabulous.
If you follow me on my social media platforms, you'll see there's a new character coming soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. But yeah, I have all this stuff and all this knowledge and all this information to send out to children. And then I thought, how best would you get it across to a child where they're going to resonate with it? And if you think of most children, cartoon characters are life. Oh, that happened to that cartoon character. That's the same as me. And obviously I'm a big fan of cartoons, as you can see by my Ninja Turtle top. And I'm a big fan of Buzz Lightyear. That's where the rocket thing comes from. But yeah, so basically I just wanted to put it across to children in a fun way, because sometimes listening to me, I'm saying the stuff, but it's not as interesting. I know I'm not a boring person, but do you know what I mean? If you come from a little character that they can resonate with, because as I learned through working with autistic children, when we wanted them to do certain things, rather than say we wanted them to do it, we'd get a card with like Thomas the Tank Engine on and be like, Thomas the Tank Engine would like you to come in from the playground. And how quickly they do that is quite amazing. So obviously neurotypical children are a little bit similar when they're smaller. You say, Peppa Pig wants you to eat all your dinner. They'll eat all their dinner. It's just the way it works a little bit, isn't it? So I just thought it was kind of a nice way to put it across in a gentle, fun way.
Yeah, lovely. So you've got your podcast that you've mentioned. Obviously, you do your workshops, and you mentioned as well to me earlier. Well, I've seen a couple of the prototypes of a book that you're working on as well.
Yeah, which is really exciting. I have a book written, and I actually have a few space-themed meditations written for children. So the book hopefully should be coming out soon. I read that on another page a little while back as the first time ever. So yeah, hopefully that should be out soon. Very exciting, because in the book there's kind of a strategy to help children there, where they can actually join in with the book and help the character in the book to get through some of his struggles.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's really great. And, you know, as we know, engaging children in the activity and in the discussions and things is kind of what has the power. You know, we can all just sit and, as we know, we can all just sit and talk for hours about what we're passionate about and what they could be doing. But, until it kind of clicks in their brain. And I think, the theme of space as well is great for boys and girls and for all children. And it's just got so much scope, hasn't it, to kind of be creative with, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun making these little things. And I can't say, I'm not saying there's not one out there, but I can't say I've seen anyone doing kind of characters to do with this kind of subject. There
Mm,
could be, we're in a big world,
yeah,
but so it's a
yeah.
unique way to do it, which hopefully will help children out.
It is, and I think it is just going to grow and grow. And I'm just pleased to be with you on your journey through to infinity and beyond, because I'm sure there's a lot more to kind of come, and a lot more things that we don't even know are out there at the minute, but are gonna show themselves to us in the future. So, if you were to kind of leave us with any sort of one piece of advice, what would that be?
I think one that I like to remember myself, and it's a good one for children to remember also, and parents, is don't believe everything you think,
Mm,
which is a statement in itself, because a lot of us think, and I was quite amazed by this one, that what goes in here isn't always your thought, and you don't have to add an emotion to it, and it's not always something that you feel because you thought it, which is kind of confusing, but I have a much simpler way to explain that. But yeah, that kind of blew me away, so hopefully that gets people thinking.
I was going to say that's definitely a one to go away and mull over, and maybe for those of you that do it, get your journals out and sort of do a little bit of writing around that and see kind of what comes up for you. I know you do journals and stuff as well, don't you? And Jay does as well.
Yeah,
Mm.
it, because it's important, isn't it? Because we know as adults, as soon as you take your foot off that pedal and you stop the journal and you stop the gratitude and you stop the future vision planning and the meditation and all the things you do to make yourself feel well, I like to use the spiral slides in the park. You're at the top when you're doing all this stuff, but as soon as you stop, you start falling down. And then if you've ever tried climbing a spiral slide, it's quite tricky. So you don't want to get yourself down that slide. You want to stay at the top.
Yeah, brilliant. Lovely. Well, I love all the stuff you do is really playful as well, and really attractive to the kids. So thank you very much for coming on and talking to us and supporting us. Where can we find you? So where can we find your podcast and your pages?
Well, if you go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can type in Orbit with a capital N in the middle and crew, which is all one word. But if you go over to my Instagram, which is J_coaching1111, I'm going to put all the links under a link on there. So you can go through that. Or on Facebook, I'm J Coaching. So, but you can reach out to me if you want any links for anything I'm doing, and I'll point you in the right direction.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today. I am really looking forward. I've been listening to the podcast and really looking forward to kind of hearing and seeing what comes next from you. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much also.
All right.